Using a 19mm socket, we'll go ahead and remove the lug nuts. Go ahead and remove the wheel. Set that aside. Using a 14mm socket, let's go ahead and remove the caliper slide bolts. Set the caliper aside. I want to go ahead and take a quick inspection at these sliders here, so you can go ahead and pop that out. I want to just inspect for some grease. Sometimes you can add a little bit, just a tiny bit. Slide that back on in there. Pop that boot on. And do the same for the other one. I'm going to add a tiny bit of grease to this here. Just kind of spread that around a little bit. Take your pad shim or slider here. I'm going to pop these into place. Press those down. Repeat for the other side. Using a 14mm socket, I want to go ahead and remove the caliper slide bolts here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the caliper. I'm going to go ahead and use our hanger to support that up on a side. Let's go ahead and remove the 17mm caliper bracket bolts. And before I remove that upper bolt completely, I'm going to go ahead and remove the inboard and the outboard brake pad. Once you get that bolt out, remove the bracket. Be careful of the rotor. The rotor is now loose. You don't want that to drop. Grab your new caliper bracket. Slide that into place. Go ahead and get that upper bolt started. Go ahead and grab the lower bolt. Do the same for the bottom. Go ahead and torque these down to 88.5 or 88.5 pounds. Go ahead and install our inboard brake pad. Install our outboard pad. And take our new caliper. Slide that over, pushing in on our little slider pin pieces right here, and get the bolt started. Once those are in, we'll go ahead and get those snugged down. I'm going to go ahead and torque down the caliper to bracket bolts, 20 foot-pounds. Now on the back side of the caliper, we have a bolt. I'm going to remove this, and you'll have two copper washers on there. Go ahead and remove those two copper washers. You can see those there. Drop one back on. I'm going to set these aside for now. Using a 12mm socket, we're going to go ahead and remove the brake flex line bolt right here. Now you want to have a catch can underneath, or a bucket or rags, because brake fluid will leak out of this. I'm just going to use a pry tool to go ahead and pop this off of the caliper. Now we'll remove this here. I'm going to make sure that the washers are not on there. Should be just the eyelet right here. I'm going to go ahead and take our new bolt. I'm going to slide this through with our copper washer on one side. Take the other copper washer, put it on this side, install it onto your new caliper. Line that up, and there's a little notch on the top here for that hose to fit right into. I'm going to go ahead and snug that down. Grab a rag, wipe off your excess brake fluid here. I'm going to torque down the brake flex line hose bolt here to 13 foot-pounds. You can now go ahead and remove the old caliper. Fluid will come out of this here, so make sure you be careful when handling that. Now underneath the hood, you're going to find your brake fluid reservoir. On the side, there's a min and a max fluid line. Go ahead and open up the top, and you want to add brake fluid accordingly to fill up to that full mark there. Once you do that, you want to go ahead and proceed to your brake bleeding process. Go ahead and remove your rubber cap off the back of the bleeder screw. Use a 10mm wrench. Counterclockwise, we're going to open that up. I'm going to leave that open. We're going to allow for the brake fluid to come through the line, fill up, and then come out that bleeder. Once we see brake fluid, we're going to go ahead and tighten that down. Once we have that fluid coming out, let's go ahead and tighten that down. And wipe up that fluid. Go ahead and install your brake reservoir cap, lock it into place. You want to go ahead and pump up the brakes from inside the vehicle here. And once you get a firm pedal, you can go ahead and check your brake fluid level again. Let's go ahead and install our wheel. We're going to get all of our lug nuts started by hand. Once we get these installed, we'll snug them down. I'm going to get and torque the lug nuts down to 88.5 foot-pounds.